Like most fishermen, I have collected a lot of tackle and gear over the years, and I am not about to drag 300 pounds worth of stuff out with me every single time I go on a fishing trip. In fact, the majority of fishing trips that I go on, I need no more than a single tray's worth of tackle, all you're going to need for about 90% of the fishing that you're going to be doing on the Texas Gulf Coast. That is what we're going to be looking at right now. I am going to break open my EDC so that you can see everything that I carry with me when I am going out on my fishing trips. The very first thing we need to be talking about when we are looking at our EDC for Texas fishing is going to be our fishing rod outfit. Now, 95% of the fishing that I do is going to be done with one of two rods. I just hooked myself. How's that for pro, huh? Hey, you subscribed, or maybe you didn't, I don't know. But anyway, you're watching. The very first setup that you're going to want to have on hand is going to be either an ultralight or a light medium style rod setup, something like this. I use the Quantum QX36. I love these rods. They are super lightweight, so you can cast it 1,000 times. More on that in just a minute. They're also pretty strong. I have caught 35, 38-inch redfish with this rod right here. Next outfit that you're going to want to have on hand for the majority of the fishing that you're going to be doing on the coast down here is going to be some kind of surf rod outfit. That's going to be one of your larger, your 9, 10, medium heavy action rods. Something that's going to give you the ability to get a long haul cast. First and foremost, let's take a look at that QX36 rod outfit that I have. I am pairing that with a 4000 series Shimano Spheros reel. This is my all-time favorite outfit when it comes to the majority of inshore fishing that I do. A moment ago, we were talking about the different styles of fishing. So the two styles of fishing that we are going to be looking at is going to be live and cut bait, and then it's going to be artificial bait. If you're going to be doing a lot of fishing in the bays and estuaries, if you're going to be sight fishing redfish, or maybe you're targeting trout or flounder, those fish are not going to be super massive. They're not going to be breaking rods or anything. So you are going to want to downsize a little bit. You're going to want a lightweight rod, maybe even an ultralight outfit. Pair that with a 2500 to a 4000 series reel. The reason for that is you're probably not going to need to cast mega distances. It also gives you the ability to make 1,000 casts. It is going to hurt your arm by the end of the day making those casts, or God forbid you catch yourself a 30, 35-inch redfish, and then you have to reel it in with a crippled arm because you've been making so many casts with that heavy gear. I would suggest taking everything up to 20, 25 pound test. I like to pack my reels with about 3/4 of braid. You end up getting a lot of wind knots when it's really light. If it's a little bit heavier, you tend to get less wind knots. I will sometimes put 25 yards of fluorocarbon on there, which tends to have some issues with line memory. Of course, you're going to have less issues with that if it's a heavier pound test. You are either going to be casting artificial lures with that rod that we were just looking at, or you might be casting live bait. Maybe you're pitching some cut bait into a canal or off of the jetty or something. If you are fishing in the surf, or if you are at the jetty and you need to get your bait far and away from where you are standing, maybe you just need to get out into deeper water, or you need to get it away from the rocks, then you're going to need to get yourself a surf casting outfit. I have multiple surf casting outfits that I use because I tend to have 3 or 4 lines all run in a spread down the beach when I'm fishing in the surf for pompano, sharks, or redfish. I do like these Shakespeare Ugly Stick surf casting rods. I also have a Penn Carnage rod that is actually one of my favorites because it is such an easy rod to cast. The reels that I pair with those rods, I've got a Quantum Cabo right here. I really like this reel. I am a big fan of that Quantum Cabo. That having been said, I also have a 10,000 series Penn Slammer that is just a chef's kiss. Now that thing is super heavy, so it's pretty strong, and it is a stout reel. But if you're reeling in a fish from 400-600 yards away, expect to get some cramps in that lower arm because it's going to wear you out. If you have any questions about that, if you want to argue with me about some of my selections here, feel free. Hit me up in the comments down below. I have answered every single comment on this channel for the past 8 years, and I'm more than happy to continue that trend to the best of my ability. We can go at it in the comments. I'm happy to I'm happy to oblige. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the meat and potatoes of this conversation, and that is going to be the tackle that I'm bringing with me. We're not going to get to this case just yet because this really is my bread and butter and my go-to, and the majority of fishing that I do is going to be with this tackle tray right here. But I want to take just a quick look at artificial baits first. That's going to be your lures and your spoons and things like that. Let me show you what I carry. That is an entirely different tackle tray because, again, that is going to be a different style of fishing. First things first, I've got just a ton of these stupid jig heads. Not the biggest fan of these. They do work, but I'll tell you what I'm really, really fond of is actually these guys. Those guys right there. I love those. It is so much easier, especially in a pinch, to use this. You use that little spring to, I'll show you. You just use it to screw into the soft plastic, and it literally does it like just that fast. And then you measure that, put there. It's just done that fast. So I absolutely love these things. It's also a lot easier to remove them, and you can probably reuse that again in the future, and you're okay. I also like the action on them with the weight on the hook like that versus the weight on the head. It just, I don't know, they look cool. These are always with me in my artificials. Number of these soft plastics. I have a ton of them here, and there's some good ones, and there's ones that I've never had a bite on at all. I'll be honest with you, Salt Strong makes these Slam series of Slam Shadies. I have caught more fish on these things right here than all other soft plastics I have combined. I really do like these. You are going to need in your everyday carry, it doesn't have to be the Slam, it doesn't have to be Salt Strong, but you are going to need a paddle tail. It doesn't hurt to have them scented, and you are going to need something that is silver and has a lot of fleck and is light colored. That is an important soft plastic to have. It also doesn't hurt to have something that is darker and copper colored. I like these paddle tails. This is going to work a lot better in less clear water conditions. Those other guys are great for clear water. This is for less clear water if you're going a lot deeper or something along those lines. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have a glow-in-the-dark shrimp. I think these are DOA and makes these. And these are fantastic. These are just wonderful artificials to have. Plastics are great because they give you a little bit more of a natural presentation, kind of. It's a little bit more of a gentle presentation. You don't want to scare fish off by having that thing bouncing around too hard, making too much noise down on the bottom, especially in less clear conditions. There are going to be times when you need something that's a little bit more hard-hitting, has a little bit more oomph to it when you're fishing artificials. This dude is an everyday carry for me. If I am going down deep, I want a rooster tail. If I'm fishing for those big redfish at the end of the jetty, I'm going to be casting one of these big boys with probably a little bit bigger rod, because that's pretty heavy. That's an 8/0 4-ounce. He's a little smaller, 7/0 2-ounce. Probably be casting that with a 5-6000 series reel on a big Carnage casting rod, something like that, off of the jetty, in the hopes of getting myself one of those big bull reds in the fall. Of course, you need, this is just, I don't even remember what that guy is called, but you know what I'm talking about. The white or silver shiny with the red head, just regular crankbait, jerkbait. That guy is just, you just have to have that. The all-time most important lure that you absolutely must have. If you are only going to bring one lure, it is going to be one of these slab spoons. I buy these in bulk because you're going to lose a lot of them. You cast these off the end of the jetty in fall, you're going to get yourself kingfish, you're going to get big redfish, and you're probably going to lose dozens of tarpon with this guy right here. It's really hard to keep a tarpon on him, but you're going to get hooked into him. Oh, yeah, these guys right here. Bullet weights and split shots. Good to have a few of those on hand just in case you got a little extra current and you need to drop that guy down a little bit faster, especially soft plastics. You want to do a Carolina rig, something to get it down there deep. You're going to need a few of these. One other thing that you're probably going to want to get your hands on is going to be a popping cork. Now you can use one of these. These are the cheap ones that you can get at Walmart or probably even the gas station on your way out to your fishing spot. I've got one on hand because I don't mind having one that I can lose from time to time, but man, these things honestly drive me up a wall. They just don't hold line very well. So what I'm going to use, like my everyday carry for a good popping cork, is going to be these guys by We Go Fishing. They're a YouTube channel. He's a buddy of mine, and Ben hand makes these. He does a fantastic job. Just beginning to end, he has put a lot of R&D into how he makes these popping corks, far above and beyond any of the other popping corks. That is it. That is going to be my artificial everyday carry right there. As you can see, I have this huge collection of stuff that just was not necessary. I could fit everything that I need for one trip in my pocket, just right there. That's the everyday carry. That's the most important stuff if you're going artificial here on the Texas Gulf Coast. The Texas Gulf Coast has a tendency of being a little bit on the muddy side. You're just going to have much better results if you have a live mullet in the water, or you have a live shrimp, or you've got cut skipjack. Something along those lines is going to work far better for you, especially if you're just beginning. Because of this, the vast majority of the tackle that I'm going to use when I'm doing my fishing is going to be basically one of maybe 3 kinds of hooks. And then I have a couple of different weights that I use for specific circumstances. That's that tiny tackle box I show you. Let me open it up for you now. Weights that I have. You just need something that is going to drop your bait to the bottom. I have a heavier bullet weight that I will use specifically for, well, I don't want my live bait swimming off with the weight. I want to keep him down on the bottom. Standard, you know, what is that, 2-ounce surf sinker. Always have a couple of these on hand, these spider weights. Going to want a popping cork. Doesn't hurt to have some treble hooks. You never know. That's just a universally great hook to have. These 1/0 and 2/0 live bait hooks, O'Shaughnessy's, things like that. Going to have a pack of those. You probably see a few of those in here, honestly. I got another pack of them right there. These are my 4/0. I've got multiple different sizes of circle hooks. You can see if I want sharks or big redfish, I will use that guy. I don't know what size that is, but that's a 13/0 right there, and you can tell he's bigger than that. And then I've got some 1/0s that I use. These are for whiting, small reds, things like that. And I've got a variety of different sizes of them in here. Finally, it doesn't hurt to have some swivels, 3-way swivels, clamps, things like that. Everything that you need to catch every fish on the Gulf of Mexico is going to be that guy right there. Before you go fishing, understand that there's going to be some, random items that you're probably going to want to have on hand. That's going to be, it doesn't hurt to have a good pair of pliers. It also doesn't hurt to have tie downs for your rods. You saw that my surf rod I have wrapped up with a Velcro wrap. It makes things nice and tidy. Measuring tape, keep it legal, boys. I like to travel light. I love these cooler bags. My dad got this for me for Christmas a couple years ago, and this thing is phenomenal. These. It's not a sex thing, I promise. Basically, this is just like a $15 pair of strap-on cleats that you can put on your shoes or boots or whatever, so that you don't slip around in the rocks. You're going to want a cast net, and then you're going to want to get yourself a good tackle bag. My wife got me this, and this is really awesome. I can fit a ton of tackle in here. It's a backpack. It's a little bit on the bulky side. I love having this, but if I'm really going to go light, I'm going to use one of these tackle bags. Get yourself a stringer, just in case if you're wade fishing, if you're on the jetty. That is my everyday carry for the vast majority of the fishing that I'm going to be doing on the Texas Gulf Coast. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helps you out. If it does, I've got more coming for you right over here. And of course, check out one of our amazing vlogs. Well, here's our entire 7th season of fishing vlogs right down here. Check that out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.